Hello, virtual students. Today, y'all are going to do an activity that compares HTML code versus using Google Docs to create a website. Now, in the classroom, I showed them how to use Microsoft Word to create a website. However, you can also use Google Docs. So the first thing that we are going to do is to open up this HTML versus Word. And notice at the top up here, it tells us to create this top image. We're going to create that document using Notepad, but actually I'm going to give you a site online to use instead. And we're going to also do the same thing in Google Docs. First, we're going to start with Google Docs. So if I go over to Google Docs, we see that, let me split my screen here. All right, so notice that the text about me, it's Times New Roman. So we want to change our font to Times New Roman. We want to center our text horizontally. And we want to make the text red. And we're going to make it a little larger. Let's make it size 18. All right, and then we're going to type about me. Also, notice it also looks bold, so we're going to select the text and make that bold. All right, press enter, and we're going to set our font size back to 12. We want to leave bold on. We're going to change the font color to a dark gray. And let's type student's name, but actually type your name. And with my spacing, I'm going to press enter in front of my name to give it a little bit more space. After my name, I'm going to press enter twice. I'm going to put my text back to the left. Now, if you'll look closely, my three favorite things is in Arial font, but the list of three things is in Times New Roman. So for that statement, I'm going to change my font style to Arial. Notice I have a typo on my document too because Arial is spelled with an A, not an E. All right, and we're going to type my three favorite things are. That font is also black and not bold. We press enter twice. Now we need to change our font style back to Times New Roman. We're going to use our numbered list and type your three favorite things. Now this document looks pretty much just like the top part of this document over here, and notice how fast we did that. To save our document as a website, all we have to do in Google Docs is to go to File, Download, Web Page. Whenever we do that, it put a zipped file on my taskbar. If I show that folder, if you look inside of the zipped folder, you'll see this untitled document that we just did, and it is actually an HTML file. So if I were to open that, it's going to open up in my browser and show this HTML document that I created. Now, creating a website with Google Docs, just like in Microsoft Word, it's very easy to create the document if you know how to format in those two pieces of software, and you save it as an HTML file, and bam, you're done. Okay. Now, the other half of this assignment says, okay, now that we've done it in Google Docs or Word if you're in class. Now we're going to use something like Notepad. We're going to learn the HTML of it. So if under day 40, you have a link to an HTML editor, when you open it, it takes you to an HTML editor that has on the left side where you type the code. And the cool thing is it shows you what it would look like on the right side if it were a website. And it opens up and gives you a sample piece of text. All right, we're going to delete all of that sample text because we're going to type our own. Also on day 40, you're going to need to open up the HTML activity image. And this is the actual code that we're going to type in our HTML editor. So let me get my screen kind of side by side here. Wish I had my two monitors, but I'm at home. And I know it's frustrating for y'all with a Chromebook. All right. Now I'm going to actually start typing this code. And one thing with HTML is that you cannot make typos. If you make a typo, the code will not work. Now notice how it's indenting things for me. It kind of knows, okay, well, she's doing HTML and we have an HTML document. This first line is telling it that it's the current HTML5. We're telling it that we're doing an HTML file. In the head section, we're going to set up a style. And we're going to set up a couple of different styles. For all H1s or heading ones, we want to set the font size to 50 pixels, and I'm getting that from the directions on the worksheet. We want the color to be red, and we want the text alignment to be center. Now, if we think about this, our About Me is kind of like our heading 1. All right, and then we're going to close that one. And then we're going to tell all heading 2s, which is a little bit smaller heading size, to have a font size of 25 pixels. We want our color to be gray and our text alignment to also be center. And we turn that style off. The last style we're going to create is for all paragraphs. We want the font family to be Arial, and we're going to turn that off. Now we are done, S-T-Y-L-E, with the style section. We are done with the head section. And notice when you turn these off, you put a slash to turn it off. And then we want to start the body section. Now let's see if I make this larger. Right now, nothing is showing up on the page because all of this is in my head section. It doesn't really show up. This is how I want things to look as I type them. When we finally start typing our first heading, heading 1, About Me, turn off heading 1. Now if we look at the code, we can see our About Me title is showing up. It's centered, it's red, it's size 50 pixels, and it's picking up all of those styles that we told it to. The next thing that we want to type is a heading 2. Put your name, and then turn off heading 2. Again, we can look at how the page looks. It's looking beautiful, looking just like the top of that worksheet. Then we want to do a paragraph. My 3 favorite things are, turn off the paragraph. Now, because it's a paragraph, it's going to have Arial font. So as we look at this, it's got Arial font. Now, one thing I'm noticing, the About Me and my name is not picking up Times New Roman like it does when I'm in Notepad. So I'm going to come back up to my heading 1 style, and let's just add another element here that says font family times, looks like we can just put times. Yep, and it automatically changed it. Same thing for our heading 2. So font family times, and it's changed that. Now we've got our paragraph, and after our paragraph, let's look back. We need to type our numbered list. So put your 3 favorite things. To single space it, you actually, let's see if I can get rid of this. You actually include a break, BR, that will single space this list for us. Three, food, of course. I'm going to turn off my body. And I'm going to turn off my HTML. All right, God, family, and food. Those 3 things need to also be times. I don't have this in the code, but let's add another style real quick, and let's format any OL, which stands for ordered list. We want the font family to be times. Turn off that style. And then on my line 36, I'm going to make this an ordered list. My first list item is God. I turn that off. I can actually take out that one. My second list item, which I don't even need to do a break now, because if it's an ordered list, it's going to do it itself. All right, so I want to turn off that list item. And my third list item, take out the break and the number 3, turn off the list item, turn off the ordered list. All right, so now our code created the exact same thing. It took all of this typing with no typos that you could make or it would not work to create it. And this is how you use HTML. And this top part is called CSS, or cascading style sheets. Now, as you take the 3rd course in our pathway, which is for web design, you're going to learn all about the HTML and CSS and get a lot more practice with this. All right, so as we look back at our instructions, so we've used something like Notepad. We've used Google Docs, which is similar to Word. You've used both to create this About Me, and you've got some questions now I want you to answer, numbers 1 through 10. So if you open this document with a Google Docs, it's going to look a little bit funny with the spacing, but y'all may hear my daughter in the background, by the way. She's calling her sister. The spacing may look a little crazy in here, but you should be able to type your answer and just, delete the extra lines is fine. Okay. When you get finished with this assignment, you will actually upload your answers to the 10 questions, upload that Google Doc. You will upload the Google Doc that you created at the beginning, where you typed in About Me and selected the red font and all that stuff. And then on the website that you created the code with me, I accidentally pushed a button and I can't undo. So don't do that. But you're going to actually take a screenshot of the code that you typed and what it looks like in this other window. So just take a screenshot of this whole page. If you can't see all of the HTML, just scroll down and you may have to make 2 screenshots.